Bird, 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 bird! Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him! Yeah! Ron Babe was right. Ron Babe was right.
I'm feeling spry. Hey everybody, you know who it is and you know what show it is because you pushed play. I didn't. You did. It's your fault. Also know that the title sponsor of this show is OnX Hunt. You can get it for 20% off with the code HDP20. You can get it in a box of Cracker Jacks for 20% off. You can get it in the back of a magazine. You can get it from RGS, PF, Huda, DU, Hulu, Elk, whatever. But if you're one of my listeners and you're going to renew your Onyx membership, use the promo code HDP20. You know, it makes sense, right? Let's not give credit to the other people out there. One of the fun things now, my 4-year-old grandson, he is somewhat, I don't want to say obsessed with, but very aware of streets. Like when you turn down a street, he goes, "Oh, we're on Michelinda. Oh, we're on Holton Road." My wife and I had the grandkids like a 5-night sleepover. Well, obviously my daughter and son-in-law were off on a trip. First time we ever had them. So one of the things I do to satiate the midday yayas is I got an old Kawasaki Mule. And the weather's been still really nice here in Michigan. No snow on the ground, 50-degree days. It's gorgeous. I didn't go grouse hunting because I was grandkidding. I don't call it babysitting. I was grandparenting. But we get on my my mule, and a mule isn't. Do you know what a mule is? It's Kawasaki came out with them way before the Can-Ams and everything. Just like a utilitarian. Got a dump box on the back and a front bench seat. It's big enough for me, my grandson, my wife, and then the little granddaughter sits on her lap. Every day we take this thing out on our trails and out on the pipeline access, sometimes down the road. And because one day I was trying to show my wife the property lines on Onyx, she goes, "How come these trees are down and we're not getting them off the property?" I said, "That's not our property." So I turned Onyx on, and that little stinker took to Onyx. I'm going to be able to have him help me in a couple years. He loves watching that little blue dot go around our trails. We come back around. He tells me where to turn. And he just holds the phone the whole time. And he watches that blue dot. And he says, "Papa, we're back on your property. Papa, take the trail to the left." It's fun for all ages. Gunner kennels. Now, I did wish we had a gunner kennel in the house this weekend because I may have put one or both of the grandchildren in one of them. They're bear proof. I think they're grandkid proof. On occasion, I know we kennel crate our dogs, we kennel train our dogs, and every once in a while it'd be nice to just pop them in the gunner kennel. It's just a thought. I never did it. My wife said we shouldn't, but I could probably get my granddaughter. She's still a little. I could probably get her in a gunner food crate. Problem is, it's airtight, and if I ever taught her brother, yeah, that's another bad idea. Why don't you just delete this? Don't let your kids hear that stuff. Don't use your gunner kennels and food crates for anything besides dogs and dog food. Okay, period. If you go to W Supply, you are not going to find gunner kennels, but what you are going to find are everything else you need for your dog, from tie-out stakes to collars to electronic equipment, which always leads me up to the introduction to Garmin. In fact, this Friday, I think I'm going to have my friends Patrick and Rayhan on, and we're going to do a podcast with Garmin, give you the latest and greatest updates. We're going to tell some stories. They've got some good stories. They've been hitting it hard hunting, and we're going to have the fine folks at Garmin on here pretty quick. If you don't have a Garmin around your dog's neck, yeah, I understand, but one of these days, you will. Just that's the natural progression of a bird dog owner. If you're not giving them K9 athlete supplements like K9 Pro, Hydrate and Recover, New Dog, well, then you're probably not running a Garmin collar because you're, again, just brand new. But if you're a listener to the show, you know that K9 Athlete has a 25% promo code for your first order. And the promo code's K9 Athlete. You can find all kinds of stuff for your dog. And look at the Wilderness Athlete. That's the human. The human. That's the what's our Latin name? That's the Homo sapien version of K9 Athlete, Wilderness Athlete. And I run on that stuff every day. Mossberg is knocking it out of the park. I shot the 940A out in South Dakota. Now, I did not do that when I was just rabble-rousing with some friends later in the week out there. But, at the lodge where there's a lot of birds to swat down, it was swatting. And I only swat with one bullet. In fact, you're going to hear all about that bullet, that brand, that phenomenon of Boss ammo is what I shoot in my Mossberg shotgun. This episode is with Brandon and Aaron. And we were up in Brandon's office at Boss. I was on my way home from South Dakota. I sent him a message. I said, hey, I got my recording equipment with me. Let's catch up on what's new at Boss. So this is going to be a deep dive. You're going to learn about ballistic gel. You're going to learn about shot cup. You're going to learn about wads. You're going to learn why Boss is the #1 non-tox shell on the planet. After you listen to this episode, you don't have to take my word for it because you'll actually hear it from Brandon Cerecke, the actual, the what would you call it? The inventor. Yeah, it's more than inventor. The grand architect. That's it. The grand architect of Boss shot shells. Purina Pro Plan is the grand architect of dog food. Everybody knows that. It's been around forever. It's been around 100 years. And the pros, I think that's why they call it Purina Pro Plan, because real pros use it. Amateurs are welcome to use it, but they sponsor everything out there from habitat to restoration to competition to everything. Purina puts their money back into the dog world like no other dog food company does. Walton's, they don't, Walton's figured out a way to sell us everything we need without having to you can't buy a Walton's, but you go to Walton's, get their catalog, and you can find everything to have that wild game kitchen. Now, you don't have to use wild game. You can use my slicer when I get my manchego. It's a Mexican cheese that I love so much. It's a kind of a dry, salty cheese. I buy it in a big block, and I get my slicer out, and I look just like the deli at the food store. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. I do the same thing with a ham. I do the same thing with... There's so many things in the Walton's catalog. We'll have to have them on pretty soon. We'll go through page by page. It'll be like a 12-hour podcast. Get the Walton's catalog. Do yourself a favor. And use a promo code HDP10 when you're there. And save 10% off. Unless something's on some special Black Friday sale. Don't try to sneak in another 10%. That's not what it's for. Same thing with Marshwear. I got their new pants. I've got 2 new shirts. I got everything but my socks. My boots are from Mindel, but they're not a sponsor, but they're a sponsor of my feet. And socks. Everything else on my body, I'm a walking billboard for Marshwear. It is the most comfortable, stretchy, lightweight, well thought out, what do I call it? Lifestyle wear, but it's got hunting stuff. It's got the bib overalls. It's got the jacket with a game bag, like not the going across the prairie for 6 hours game bag. Just that walking around the back property. It's got a little game bag. You could put your squirrel in it, pop a squirrel off. Oh my God! Here's my wife calling me. Hold on. Whew, that was close. I hate it when I get blindsided with a question and I'm like, did I do that? And I'm like, yep, I did it. Where is it? I told her where it was. Boom. I got a lot of freedom. I don't have that much freedom. Sometimes I got to answer the phone when the warden calls. Where the heck was I? Went through Walton's, all my Marshwear, 15%. In fact, this kind of goes back to, my Patreon patrons, which thank you, because a lot more people have been signing up again lately. I think because of the Zoom rooms and some of the guests I'm going to have on them. But Marshwear, Walton's, and Canine Athlete, if you're a Patreon member, they have a deeper, in some cases, much deeper discount. In fact, Gunner Kennels, who does not give a discount to anybody except on Black Friday if you're a veteran, Gunner Kennels has a Patreon discount. So that's, there's a reason. There's a bonus, and you get the history of my dogs and all the other stuff. But back to the intro. Arxis USA, the rubber boots that have come on since Jack brought them over here from Sweden. People are in love with them, just like they were in love with Gumleaf. Jack's always told me there might be a rare size in Gumleaf still left in the warehouse. But look at Arxis, ARXUS, USA.com. Look at the rubber boot selection. These aren't big clunky things. These are real European designed rubber boots. They've got them mid-calf, low calf, center calf, knee height, zipper, no zipper, women's, men's. I mean, they've got way bigger lineup than we ever had from Gumleaf. My wife wears hers religiously. I wear mine when it's appropriate, like when I'm out going grouse hunting in the woods and it's going to be wet, it's going to be swampy, and I'm crossing creeks. I can't get, I actually just keep them in my truck. I used to put them in the house or put them on my boot hangers. Now I just leave them in the truck. I just do. Just like my 4-wheel camper stays on my truck. I've got the jacks. I can take it off. I could unbolt 6 bolts, take it off. But that thing's set up for hunting season, and then it turns into training season, and then it turns into vacation season. I can sleep wherever I go. I was lucky enough to have a bed almost every night in South Dakota, but on the way home, no beds for Ron. I didn't need a bed. I didn't need a motel. I had my 4-wheel camper Model M. I popped it up, pulled into a little campground. I mean, you can pull into a rest area. You can pull off on a piece of public land if camping is legal. But I pulled into a little KOA campground in South Dakota, pulled in there, got a little shower in, sat there on the picnic table. Again, this weather has been great. You talk about, now, am I going to like sleeping in that 4-wheel camper in 0 degrees? Hell no, I'm going to my friend's house. I'm not even going to hunt in 0 degrees. But the rest of the year, I'm carrying my motel on the back of my Dodge pickup. You'd think Dodge would want to support this. God knows. You know who else is going to... All right, here. This is one of the best things two of the best things about Stevensville, Michigan. Two of the best things. One, it's right on my way when I go out of here. I always got to go south out of Michigan, around the lake and on to the west, right? Or Wisconsin or Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, wherever I go. I got to go down 31. I go by Stevensville, and I stop at Boss Shot Shells, and they usually set something on the side for me, or if they're not open. If they're open, I get in, go see everybody like I did this trip. But there is another gem in the town of Stevensville, Michigan. And it's called Watermark Brewery. If you've ever come up 31 from Chicago or Illinois to Michigan, right before Stevensville, you're going to see a big billboard up that says Watermark Brewery. And the guy on that billboard is my friend Justin. And Justin is one of the owners of Watermark, and it is the best. I love taverns. You go into Watermark Brewery, it's like a tavern, but it's also like a beer garden. It's also like a restaurant. But it's not a restaurant. It's just a place to go drink the best goddamn beer you ever had. My favorite is Bodega Mexican Lager, and this is a rumor, but I have it on pretty good authority that they are going to be sponsor of this show and a sponsor of my liver, which I cannot wait. All I got to do is get a kegerator and go back down to Stevensville, and this show will be fueled by Watermark Brewery. How's that? Oh, I didn't talk about the Film Fest, did I? I didn't. So the Film Fest, the Hunting Dog Film Fest. Again, I've said this it's not mine. I'm gonna have a part in it. I'm gonna hopefully MC, maybe co-MC it when it comes out in Kansas City next year. But the Film Fest, where anybody, amateur, young, professional, can submit a film, just go to the look up huntingdogfilmfest.com. You'll find it. And if you're the guy who likes to film everything, see if you can put something together. See if you can put your greatest hits together. This is going to be an unbelievable, ongoing tribute to what we do, from the hounds to the flushers to the pointers. Anything we do outside with our dogs, you're going to see at the film fest. I'm not going to be one of the judges of it. I'm not. I don't know who's going to be the judge. But I'm going to be the MC, at least for the first one. And I can't wait for this to happen in Kansas City. Now, I would nominate the Upland Institute, which is the finest online training program that you could get for your dog, from foundation and fundamentals to the train retrieve to advanced dog work. Okay, this isn't about getting ready for a test. This is about getting a dog from puppy to adult ready for the field for wild birds. That is all Justin cares about. But I'm thinking I could submit the Upland Institute, because I'm not judging. I'm not one of the judges. It is so well edited and put together. If we could condense that into, like, Matt, are you listening to this? Matt's my editor, and he edited the Upland Institute. If we could get it, like, whatever the limits are, whatever the what do you call it, the slot limit for a film, for the film fest, whether it's a 6-minute film, 8-minute film, they're not going to be long feature films. They're going to be short films. Matt, if we could put together the Upland, I bet you we could get an Oscar for the Upland. You can get an Oscar for your dog's performance if you put your dog through the Upland Institute. But that's up to you. It's a big chant. It's work. It's not like buying a pair of pants from Marshwear. It's not like buying a collar from Garmin. You don't get immediate satisfaction when you decide to train your own dog. But what you get is a lot of satisfaction with a trained dog. So there. Boy, this is a long one. Well, so what? 16 minutes, give or take. 17 minutes. I mean, really, what's the difference? I hope you enjoy this episode. I know you'll enjoy this episode. What I won't know is if you listen to 16 minutes of intro. But I know most of you, and a lot of you tell me, Ron, don't change nothing. Don't put a commercial in the middle. Please don't put a commercial in the middle. And please don't stop in the middle of a podcast and say, you're listening to the Hunting Dog Podcast with your host, Ron Bain. Ron, please don't do that. Just stack the court, right? Stack the intro with whatever you got to talk about, with all your sponsors, with all 77 of them. Stack the front of it and just let us listen to a podcast while we're driving or exercising or mowing the lawn. And that's what you get from the Hunting Dog Podcast. I love you guys. I love you girls. I love you girls more. I love you patrons, maybe just a touch more than the girls. But so if you're a girl patron, I'd love you more than, you know where I'm going.
Hey, baby. All right, my dog Vivi is wandering around the Boss Shot Shell headquarters, up from Brandon's office with AA Ron, there you go, which is Aaron. I had to do that because I would not remember his name because, old people don't remember names that well until you have a drink with them. So unless you want to go to Watermark afterwards, then I'll never forget your name. Go a little long with the Watermark. I'm off. I'm retired. So anyway, Boss has been sponsoring the show for many years now and always generous with, heck, when we went to Pheasant Fest, Dirk set us up with stickers of this and that and some bags, and everybody loves it. Everybody loves the animal, but Brandon, you haven't been on it in a while. We haven't done this. That's why I said when I'm coming home from South Dakota, let's stop out and catch up. Anything new and exciting going on at the Boss world? Oh, man, there's always something new every day. There's something new. Oh, so it's probably been... Has it been 3 years? Probably. Okay. So we can play catch up. I guess the thing that I've been most excited about here at Boss for going on the last 2 years now has been Warchief. Yeah, everybody, I keep hearing that name. Yeah. So it's a purpose-built shell that I wanted to improve the performance of that what we call legacy, the original Boss shell, by giving more yardage. It was the wind down of our 2022 duckling season at a marsh, and it just wasn't the greatest season, and birds weren't working in flows, and I wanted to add 10 more yards to the shell. I mean, that's a thought process. Like,
Yeah, I was in a bad mood. Well, I'll try. It was like my best ideas come out of extreme amounts of stress, or anxiety, or anger, or frustration. I'd never come up with really good ideas when I didn't do it for whatever reason. It just doesn't. That's not how my mind works.
yeah. It's like you have to be frustrated to think about it or something.
Frustrated, pissed off, have a problem with something wrong with this.
Yeah.
So, and just the way it works, like it's not that we bad moods all the time, but there's always new stuff. So I get frustrated with things. I get bored really easy, and that leads to frustration and then anger. That you got to come up with something new. So anyway, birds weren't working very tight. I wanted more yardage. I knew that we had competition in the industry with some of their other, bismuth, other guys came out with. Guys are starting to blend tungsten and steel, keep costs down. And I wanted to stay at purist with bismuth and really try to maximize the performance of that bismuth, all bismuth shot shell. So I went back to one of my original handled recipes that I couldn't produce on the equipment we had at the time because I wasn't able to add buffer. The machines that we first started the company with weren't capable of adding buffer. They weren't capable of loading wads that were as tall as we needed to use throughout that Warchief shell by having full shot column protection, which I can talk about that in a minute. But
Yeah.
so then I realized, wait a minute, I can modify this machine and make a taller wad board. All I can do is machine 30,000 off this little piece here, and then before you know it, I started making some shells of that full length wad. Then we started with adding a buffer on some of our newer equipment, and we pattern tested it, and this stuff was picking up. Aaron, it went from 70%, at 40, 85.
It's taking us not 20%
increase in pattern density, and 40
by adding the buffer.
No,
And the full length wad.
the full length wad is a blessing and a curse because we talked about it again in your podcast or not, but it's fairly common knowledge to know that when you're dealing with lead or soft shot at bismuth, the taller the shot column gets, the less efficiency you have.
Right.
Because the pressure at the bottom, formed mush.
Right.
So by adding the full length wad, it essentially made that shot column taller.
Right.
As the volume would have taken up around your sitting against the plastic in the hull, not protected by the wad,
Right.
would lower the pressure on the shot column because it's shorter height.
Right.
So by putting the buffer in there, all of the buffer material, which turns out what we wound up using because we didn't want to use plastic polystyrene microbeads,
Right.
or ground up plastic, which is what everybody else uses for their buffers. I wanted to use an organic product that wouldn't absorb moisture, so walnut shell it was. And what walnut shell? Round walnut shell, yeah. All it is it's just blasting media that we
Oh, that's true. I did hear about using.
yeah.
I mean, peanut or nut shells. I never thought of walnut.
We coat it with some oil, vegetable oil. It's vegetable oil, not cooking oil. It's machinery oil, inflation-based food service oil. That knocks down the dust. We add a little bit of graphite so it adds some lubricity when it has to travel past the shot, and it goes through our machines easier. And then we coat it with basically fabric softener to keep the static cling down so when it drops in the shell, it's not sticking to the plastic from all the friction. So it really is like, it was, I wanted to be bio-friendly. So we looked at corn cob. Corn cob absorbs moisture.
Yeah.
Pretty much every other relatively hard organic material will absorb moisture or doesn't work that well. Walnut shell, we experimented with 6 different.
Does anybody else use it, or do you?
No offense.
Should we have said that?
No, it's fine. Other guys to do it. We sell the buffer now. Guys to do it on their own.
Oh, really?
All kind of like Elon when it comes to technology. Now we've got IP that protects it for commercial manufacture.
Right.
But a lot of people active dudes that want to handle their own stuff.
Right.
Have a shell.
Yeah.
And if we're the guys that are coming out with these, I'm not going to say they're first shattering new ideas, but little tricks and tweaks.
Yeah.
It helps everybody else out by having more range or better accuracy. And so reality will show it. Why not do it?
Is there any loss in speed or impact or anything like that that would do that?
So the way this worked is we shot ballistic gel, and we realized that that the pellets, when you shoot ballistic gel, so you go back to June of 2021, okay, we did high-speed photography. We rented like a $300,000 camera for a week. It was like a week and a half. Had a crew come in to run it, and we started shooting high-speed photography of our ammunition, tungsten ammunition we produce, other people's steel, just to see like how the shots did.
Right.
Then what we realized is softer shot has longer shot strings, and the reason the shot strings are longer is because of the deformation you have with the pellet. What we realized at first was the ballistic gel, first pellet that hits ballistic gel goes the deepest. Then the one at the very end go the shallowest because they're moving slower.
Yep.
And that's why they're so much further behind, and they're slower because they're not as round, and because they're more angular from the pressurized shot, they're not traveling as fast.
Right.
So if you're not traveling as fast and you've got a lack of aerodynamic efficiency, you're going to end up creating a pellet that's going to drift more, and it's going to contain less energy than this will be slower. So when we shot ballistic gel, you notice like your spike. So let's just say our average depth is like 3 inches.
Okay.
The spreads between the highest and lowest can be anywhere from like 3.5 inches all the way down to like maybe 2 inches. When we buffered it, your spread is 1/3 of that. So 3.5 inches down to like maybe 2.75. Everything got more consistent, right? And then as a result, shock strings shorten. Shock string, for all intents and purposes, is statistically irrelevant when it comes to wind shooting. You're not going to have like a 6-foot versus a 12-foot shot string with something moving at the speed of sound.
Right.
By the time it's hitting a target, a few thousandths of a second difference between the first and last pellet at 4 yards. It's not. It means nothing, but it means something in the aspect of ballistic energy efficiency.
Right.
Okay, so what we realized then is I could buy a wad, because up until this point we're buying all of our wads.
Right.
Pouring money there. There was one wad that existed that allowed me to make the Warchief, what turned into the Warchief shell in 12-gauge 2 3/4. That was it. I couldn't build it to 3-inch. I couldn't build a 20-gauge. Couldn't build a 28-gauge. Nothing.
Just because of that wad.
There's no other wad. No, that's it. Right. You cannot buy a production wad that's marketed towards aftermarket hand loaders that are building target loads or funny loads.
Right.
So I said to the team, I'm like, all right, guys, we got to build our own wads. And I said that, so before that, I went down to Georgia to a place we talked about before we started recording to get a Tueler's decal. Will become live birds.
Right.
Tons of birds.
Yeah, I was doing R&D on birds.
R&D on ducks, on pheasants.
Yeah.
To see how these birds are getting hit, to see the ranges. We took the product down. The guides that work in Georgia during the season down there end up, a lot of them are from Arkansas. They'll go travel to Arkansas and shoot their ducks, further west. And they couldn't believe the stuff that we were shooting. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I would go, perpendicular to them from 30, 40 yards. My buddies would be shooting at these ducks.
Right.
Because it is, it's like captive farm-raised ducks. Right. $1,000.
Yeah. They still got to go through feathers and meat.
I said.
Yeah.
And they're fat and shit, too. So I'm watching first get hit perpendicular from 30 to 40 yards, and you can see the shot travel through the vapor trail early in the morning as pellets are passing through the ducks. The birds moving back a couple of feet, 1.5, 2 feet when they're getting hit before they drop. It was just amazing.
Almost like a semi-passive.
Yeah, they're getting just hammered.
Yeah.
So we were able to stretch it out. At the time, I also took some tungsten loads, and we quickly realized that unless you're shooting beyond 60 yards, tungsten to Warchief was really relatively insignificant difference in performance. So I came back from that trip. I told my guys, I said, this shell right here is going to make our legacy, the existing boss shell, look like skin. That lot is that the improvement in performance. So we figured out, we struggle with, even though we all shoot 2 3/4 12-gauge shells, everyone wants a 3/8 shell. So if I'm going to market this product, we have to have a wad to support it.
Yeah.
So we started talking to our mold makers down the street, not even not even an eighth of a mile again, we rolled down to hurry full it. That knew where our tooling's made. And we said we want to build wads. Want something to run for us.
You didn't know what a wad was?
Well, okay, for the customers of ours. Okay, you know, they're buddies of ours.
Yeah.
And so that over the course of about 2 days, the conversation went from them building tooling and having local shops run our wads for us to them saying, hey, we used to run our own, we had our own plastics business. Why don't we build the tools for you and we'll help you learn how to injection mold? So right down here, you can see we got wads that are running today. That was, you got these are all injection molding. Yeah, so we end up building 2 tools. Wow. That the slit part is so there's 2 tools that hold all the guts called cavities and slides and corks, right? So when we set up to, I think we're in 20 gauge freeze Warchief now. Yeah. The other tool will be getting set down the street for the next one. So say it goes to 12 gauge 3-inch, right? So we fold the tool that takes 5 minutes to pull out. They'll drive our tool on forklift down the road. Let's take the other one out. We hang the new one, and we're not tool makers. We don't have an extensive tool department to tear some apart. They have it for us. It works great. So yeah, it was historically that always went back to maintenance, and so they're always ways of doing. They're inspecting everybody, reach out to it. So that machine's a year and a half old. It's still a spraying. The tool's spraying once. We make millions and millions of wads. So then what that took us to is tungsten. And so at the time we were building tungsten shelf for a couple of very, very, very wealthy New York hedge fund guys.
Really?
Yeah. And there's a whole other story.
I mean, without going into detail, they're like, Brandon, I want to shoot tungsten.
And no, it was granted. We would buy these shells with Winchester, and they told us it was discontinued. So last time they had them, we had to buy $1 million worth. Oh my God! He shot $1 million worth of ammunition over 10 years, and it was not that long,
right?
So the next time they wanted ammo, it was during the pandemic, and Winchester said can't. Maybe I shouldn't say Winchester. It was Winchester. They said can't do it with production constraints. This, that, and the other. They end up trying to say, and this is as told me from these guys. They got to multiple millions of dollars order for this shelf. I mean, they said we can't do it. Like it's in yards, right? So they came to us. And they went from shooting this. It was the 15 gram density. I think it was a 15 or
whatever it was sitting around HD.
Yeah, it was a high density tungsten based shot that was a 15 gram. I think it was 15 gram, and it was a number 6. I think so. Yeah, and they wanted to kill pheasants at these tower shoes.
Okay,
to try and drop them in the station over the gullies. That's what these guys did. Right. So
they got to have something to really get.
What did it is? And they're older gentlemen. They're neurotic when it comes to ballistic performance, and they had that shell and they wanted that shell. Right. I said, I never had conversations direct with them. This is like they're propping in.
Right.
And I said, guys, hey, if you could talk to so-and-so and so-and-so, just give me an opportunity. Let me build something. I can make the performance better than what they currently got. Well, I don't know, because so-and-so's only like 5'6" or 5'7". He's kind of a lightweight guy, and he's real sensitive to I said, I died. Let me do this. So they prototypes for him, and they said, we love. I said, okay. Now I'm building these tools. I'll build you a set of cavities. Just make sure you're going to buy, X amount. Yeah, right.
Got to do. He said, yeah.
I didn't charge her for the tools, nothing.
Just know that you'll recreate it and be a customer.
Yeah. So while we were developing all this, we ended up with the tungsten wad, and I basically took our design was the best elements of every single wad I've ever used. Yeah. All packaged up in one. So I would sketch stuff out because I don't know how to read computers that only right. And these guys down the street would draw it and then 3D print it, and we sit at the shell. I'm like, "Get this works good." So we were able to build our own shell, spec our own plastic that we come up with that we feel works the best. Really has to buy evidence that's going to help Mother Nature break it down once it's devoid of oxygen. It might go sit and tuck with it. It is low density polyethylene. So a lot of your non-toxic wads are made with high density that's in the ground forever. The low density starts breaking down a lot sooner on its own. The additive we put in there just speeds that process up a little bit without making microplastics.
Right.
So when we're developing this wad, I said, I want to build these guys tooling for mass production of tungsten wads. So we built them in 2012 and fall of 2028. So because recoil was an issue, we used a really hot powder that has like a quick recoil impulse. So I built it. Yep. I built this with, I call it a tower of terror, but it's got this, it's a goofy looking wad because you're only holding, TSS shot is super dense. It takes up no volume. So instead of putting stasis and cushions, all kind of bullshit in the shell, I built this tower of terror that acts in the crush section. So it will collapse and allow us to use really hot powder with a quick recoil impulse, dampen that recoil with the column that collapses, and throw these insane carriers. These guys are killing these damn peasants now out of the towers at like 90 yards. It's stupid. So they gave us a chance. They ordered it. We were able to use that investment they put in our company to cover the cost of tooling that now made that product available as its own product line called Wolfram for everybody else.
Wow.
So it's kind of like people want to bitch about rich guys having stuff other people don't.
Yeah, they're
But like when everything from power steering to heated seats and power windows and AC, that was only available for the rich people.
right.
Eventually, that all trickles down to everybody.
Everybody loves it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It wouldn't even buy them junk used cars. The AC didn't work.
Exactly.
Right. So, but yeah, my uncle had AC 60s.
Then what we realized is there's a market. We got to buy this. A powder's tight right now. I'm kind of jumping around here. Now we're in the summer of 2023. Powder's tight. I can get powder, but not the powder that I like to use because it's too slow. Only thing you can use it for is essentially steel shot. So I'm thinking, we've got all these tools. What if we try using the same price with steel? Well, it didn't work that good because the wide coats were too thin.
Okay.
But by changing one piece, the core that molds the inside of the shot cut, by making that smaller, I was able to make the plastic thicker. Boom, now we're in the steel game. So we went 2018, 19, 20, 21, 4 years with one product. Then in 22, 5 years. 23, we launched Warchief. And then as an afterthought, we launched Wolfram. And then later on, we did Steel Reserve. And that's the box even says inside 35 yards. Because we all know steel has an intended purpose.
Right.
Is effective.
Right.
It's severely range limited.
It's good to put that on the box.
We put it playing it on that. So this is Boss.
It's for 35.
35 and then we
did only 2 shot sizes for those generative distances. 3's for ducks, 1's for geeks.
Really?
Did 35 yards.
Yeah. So that was just to hit a price point for people who...
Yeah, because before that, there's a lot of guys that want to get in the Boss braid, but couldn't afford that $1.50 or $2 shell.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make a $1 shell.
Still lethal.
And because it has those same elements of the cushion sections, in the ounce and an eighth shell, the double gas seal, the plastic that we use, albeit thicker, we're getting insane additives in these, which translate into really, really good lethality out of 35 yards. And obviously I shoot even longer than that, but we don't want to talk about. We don't want to promote that because that's not the point. That's not the point. No, that's like saying my shells don't kill at 100 yards. Of course they don't. It's like the best to get the guy in to the brand, then they can become familiar with how we roll when it comes to conservation and knowing your distances and pattern densities and so forth. Then we want them to be able to give that path for him to be the bismuth guy or the worksheet guy.
Right.
This tungsten thing is... I didn't think we would sell that much of it. Now, I don't pay any attention to it. I don't shoot it myself. I mean, the product is I bring intended purpose. But we had guys, we've run out of stock at cupping 9, right?
Mm-hmm. Several times. Because we thought we ended up running like maybe 100 cases of each SKU. Next thing you know, it's like once it hit the website, within a week we were having to re-up our orders. And we rerun the line.
And for all these intents and purposes, that's like a $4 show.
Yeah,
I keep calling categories, spend all of $5, more than $5, $4 or $5 per squeeze. I'm too cheap to do it.
Right.
I'm not that guy.
Right.
But people love it.
Well, I mean, there's always been the guys that say, look, I just drove. How much fuel did I just use to go hunting? But you were never used to making the shell being part of that big expenditure.
Yeah, but
I knew you had to get there and get a motel. But for some reason, it's like, well, I'm glad the box of shell only cost $20.
yeah, but I only get it from the eyes of like the 6-year-old kid that used to go to the sporting goods store with my dad before he moved something. Go get 2 boxes of shells,
Right.
$12, $15,
Right.
It wasn't even that cheap. It was like $11 for steel back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And you're in it for 50 cents, 75 cents a squeeze.
Yeah.
Sending $5 bills out the barrel is silly.
Especially if you have an auto loader, it's like 14, 12. Right, did 15.
Exactly.
That's a little.
It gets expensive, but even though it still is the cheapest part of the hunt, it truly is. I'm still not that guy that's these, hey, you spent $5, it's the best thing. No, I really like, my heart is in the Warchief. I fish at shell was I honestly think that Warchief shell was, it truly does make a legacy look like steel.
Yeah.
For duck hunters. And can I say, if we equate that, I don't shoot that much upland stuff. I just say don't. I can't tell you what it is for life, but I know that there's guys that just got back from South Dakota, and the field guys took them out.
Oh, they were handing out some boss when I was there.
Were you just?
Yeah, it was just me, Chad, and
Shimmelek canoes? Yes. Oh, that's shit.
yeah, we're at the same lodge.
Just happened to be.
Yeah, well, they were there the year before too, and so that's how I got to meet Justin from Watermark.
Okay, now it's.
So yeah, I was just having breakfast with Chad the other day, bullshitting with him in the sun.
Arthur, do you get to meet Arthur?
The only 2 names I remember are Chad and I know Justin. Can't remember Chad's son's name. But no, I didn't, because you eat in one main hall and then they have like their building, we have our building. And
So Ari, I call him Ari. Arthur used to spend time up in the next. The guy is in his early 30s. He is a political genius. Right, the guy goes every street needs to get cold in Lansing. He was damn good at his job, but just got tired of swamp.
yeah,
He wanted to use an overrater for this hunt. And I said, Ari, I got 2 over-unders. I said, they're both 20 gauges. In fact, the only 20 gauges that I'll shoot are these over-unders.
Yeah.
One of them is like a 1965 Ithaca SKD 500 fixed, full, and mod. And I said, this thing is killed. I got it from one of my good buddies who was hunted with it ever since it was new.
Yeah.
There were a lot of birds still to this thing. The action was a little bit loose. Yeah, it's warrior, you're not going to hurt it. Open it is open. And I said, dude, you're going to love this thing.
Yeah.
And he fell in love with that go. So yeah, back to how do you equate performance of Warchief to lead in the field? Legacy already outpaces lead. This is basically legacy on steroids or lead on steroids to guys that like shooting lead.
well, where we went, like when you mentioned Upland, and we got into with the guys from the local guys from here that were there.
Yeah.
So you must have gave them quite a bunch of shells to bring with, because they were handing them out like, hey, guys, try this, try that. I don't know. Oh, that's quite cool. Being about one of my guys from my group, he goes, here it is. We call them the Michigan guys.
Yeah.
Because my group is now called Michigan guys because I'm going to go with Michigan.
Yeah.
Right? And he goes, yeah, I read the guys from the Michigan group. I said, what did they say? We thought last year we kicked their ass if you're listening. And then in cornhole, you know we did. They have a machinery shed that they turned into like a casino, pool tables. Okay, they're not pool tables, but fun shit to do. And so this guy Mike, he said, yeah, they gave me a whole pocket full of the Warchief, and it was like we were making a commercial for you. I'm doing this because I'm sitting here talking to you, but this is just 6 days ago, or 7 days ago. And we're on the last walk of our 4-day walk, and Mike's on the outside. I said, nice poke on that. Because he even says, he goes, don't make me flake. Because the flankers, you put them on the outside, because the birds that get out, a lot of them do. You're kind of now counting on one guy to show. Right. It's a nice poke. She goes, I think it was those bullets. What everybody calls shotgun bullets to be smart at this, Because I think it was those bullets. I said, I'm sure what.
No, they
They kill.
is they do it. It's been it's been really kind of fun because as we're getting a little more established, we're going more vertical. Make our own wads. There's more varieties for us to be more vertical to manufacture. That other builders we've been trying to get into. And just a quick aside, like Warchief, it doesn't really fit within the brand of Boss per se, like the way it looks maybe. But a couple of reasons for that. I call him my mentor. He's one of my good buddies. He's probably, how old is Carl? Carl's probably, he's got 15 years on. Maybe not quite. Super successful family business animal up here. And when I first got started, well, let me back up, going to the 1950s, my grandpa got out of the service, was working for Carl and Trade Bot, a big manufacturer in the plating shop, worked his way up to be the general manager. Carl's dad married into the family business. So Carl's mom was the daughter of one of the founders. And Carl's dad didn't see eye to eye with my grandpa. My grandpa knew the writing was on the wall, like Chuck stopped finding a job. Right. So one of the head guys there in that business bankrolled my grandfather.
So that's how this
yeah. So my grandpa started his own business. And my father came in, joined him. My father started his business. Years later, bought his dad's business. I kept that same thing going. Yeah, I'm a third generation metal industry. Yeah, I jokingly tell Farah that if it weren't for his dad getting pissed off at my grandpa, I'd probably be working for him.
Right.
In a shop down the street.
Right.
So Farah turned me on to some good lawyers when I came up with patent idea. One of the other companies years ago, they had a patent in the process, but copyright how to business that no one's ever done.
Right.
So we came up with the new project. There was some other stuff going on in the company that I was kind of pissed off about, and I was fed up with the woke nature of American politics and society in general. And I really kind of wanted to push the limits using this Native American vibe for a shell. But reason being is I wanted to kind of get the tip of the hat on Buddy Carl because he's got this go-fast boat built in 1989 down in Florida when he was at college. And the boat's an Apache. Apache was started by Don Irino. Anyone who's listening, you want to hear good, like, cocaine, drug running back in the 70s, mobsters in the 60s led Don Irino out of New Jersey to go down to Florida and start racing boats, and we go Donzi and Cigarette and USA Cargo Racing and Apache and all these others. Then get murdered as a result of it.
Right.
But anyway, he had a boat, and all these Apache race boats were named after, they had like Indian names.
Right.
His boat was called Warchief. Still has it here. It needs new motors, new drives, and he does guys have more money than he got.
Right.
But he's just very conservative, like pillar of the community, just a great dude. He's like, getting older, you don't need to mess that boat, this, that, the other. And I'm like, Carl, just whatever. So I've been on boat a few times. Awesome boat. So I wanted to name this product line Warhawk, but Warhawk was already trademarked for ammunition. And I thought the next thing best to Warhawk would be Warchief, Boss Chief, Warchief, right?
Right.
So that clear trademark's gotten all done. And Warchief it is. But before I made the determination to do it, I talked with my buddy since Native American. I'm like, hey, man, you see anything wrong with white guys coming up the product line with Native American vibes? He's like, hell no, man, go for it. I'm like, all I need is your blessing. We're new. Right. So that was like Warchief's where my heart's been ever since we launched that product. It's
holding up to his name.
Well, Aaron, you're on the road for Boss, right? I mean, what's your job?
So I'm outside sales manager. So for my role in Boss is I'm currently the outside sales manager. So I live in Tupelo, Mississippi, and I work across America. I come up to Michigan for team meetings and collaboration once a month. So I handle all the club and outfitter and bulk sales for the.
That was my first question, because I know you don't sell this in stores. This is all.
We're starting to some limited light retail, but it's still 99%.
99% comes from here. It's shipped from here.
Yeah.
So you go to what? Gun clubs? Do you go to hunt clubs?
I go to gun clubs, hunt clubs. I mean, you name it. Duck clubs that people just put together themselves, private farms, outfitters, Really and truly, anybody who's looking to buy in the bulk source, but my main trigger is, the private clubs.
Right. So they want to supply, like if they're going to supply shells for their clients.
So, yeah.
Well, you want themselves if it's a private.
Yeah, so like the entity where the product test is done, I see if they're one of our customers and, they buy it in bulk. They supply the shells for customers who want to come in and you can buy your box of shells. You can buy how many birds you want to shoot.
Right.
Or same thing with outfitters. If you have people that are flying in private or flying in official, they don't want to haul their shells from Texas to Kansas or Montana to wherever they might be. So they have the shells there and they provide them the gun. They provide them the shells. They're taken care of. So we see it as a premium outfit with a premium service, and we want to fit the premium bill.
They keep you moving pretty busy then.
I stay busy, especially this time of year.
You've got to be doing most of this driving because you're...
I do a whole lot of driving. So I also head up a lot of myself and another coworker, Dirk, we head up most of the trade shows together. And fortunately, this weekend, he's going one way and I'm going the other. So but for the most part, he handles trade shows. I handle all the other outfits.
Right.
We all cross.
But you could stand in for him.
Yeah, we all cross paths at some point. Each other wears a lot of hats. So yeah, that's kind of what I do.
It's it's kind of weird, like an ammunition company. It's kind of like the dog. When we were talking before we hit record, Brandon was asking me what's the dog organization I judged for. 30, 40 years ago, like somebody say NAMDA. What's a NAMDA? North American Free Trade? No, not NAFTA. You know what I mean? It didn't take long for this name boss to. It's like I don't think you go anywhere and somebody goes, "No, I never heard of it." I mean, what do you have any way to attribute that to other than it's more than just marketing. We had that long conversation about how much goes into the research for the shell, and I got to imagine when you're a smaller scale, you can pay attention to your research more and not worried about getting your product out until it's right. But what do you hear from the fields and the swamps?
So I mean,
why does everybody love this shit so much?
Why does it? Well, first off, our biggest marketing is actually word of mouth. We can put millions into marketing and campaigning and ads, but still, there's always going to be those followers that say, "I've never heard of you." Well, some people don't pay attention to social media. Some people don't pay attention to magazines.
Right.
Some people they just want to get their dogs, get their gun, get their shells, go kill shit.
Yeah.
They just doing what they do. But I mean, as far as the product the product speaks for itself.
Yeah.
We've put the design, the R&D, the technology into the shells and thoroughly tested, over tested.
Yeah.
I mean, just to
the point of nauseum.
Yeah, correct. I mean,
does Brandon say go out and test them? We're like, come on.
I mean,
come on, boss.
So
it's perfect.
Well, I don't want sunshine blowing on my ass.
Right.
I don't have the idea of Warchief is. They keep on talking about Warchief, but that was a shell designed for a purpose that met my expectations, and I think it's exceeded that of others.
Yeah.
The rest of the stuff, he's my test dog. Yeah, I get to go out and
you get all the feedback.
Too bad. He shoots a lot of stuff down in Arkansas. Right. He hunts a lot. Big birds, little birds, everything in between.
Yeah.
So his opinion, and that's how we came to the company by being OCD as I was about pattern testing. And I met this guy on Facebook. There's this guy in the city that's shooting all these shells and spending all his money shooting all these patterns and posting them on the internet. Let me send off some stuff to replace this, like a thing, just helping us grow the breed.
Yeah.
And that for you to a pine share that under him being part of the zine full time. Just it unfortunately, one of the things that kind of sucks is as the business gets bigger, I used to be able to text him every single day.
Right.
Him, Justin, and I had these group texts, and you get pulled in different directions. You're focused to be here or there, and we've been dealing with a lot of shit the last few years. And there's fun stuff with business. There's also shitty stuff.
Yeah.
So if you take the good with the bad, we're still having fun.
Right.
But we're growing, and when you look at how much we've grown
You just didn't know that some things could get in the way of this much fun.
No, we haven't built out like all these roles for other people to come pick up the slacks and just get everyone's so busy.
Yeah,
right.
And my focus going into this next year and moving forward is we're established. We know where we're at. We know where our possibilities are with this company. And we've got an awesome team, and that's going to kind of get back to the basis of being able to have. I've talked more with Aaron over the last couple of months. I have last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I've been just dialed in on different things out here. Has to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that people that, when I started, when I got to Michigan, I did a fair amount of duck hunting. And I always just went to the rack and admire whatever they got, did pay attention. I never got loyal to anything. But what I've noticed, and then, of course, it's a little easier with, pheasant and grouse and stuff.
Sure.
I'm sure there's some shitty shells out there, but the grouse, if you didn't hit it by 15 yards, you probably missed it. You know what I mean? A rough grouse. Oh my God! You're hunting in a popple sled, and it's like this. It's like walking through cattails over your head trying to take a shot. You only hit the bird that you can see.
Yeah.
Right. So we didn't worry about like penetration. We had to worry about getting a gun up fast.
Pellets on target.
Right. But then when I started hunting out west and taking these long crossers and Chubby's getting up way feeding and getting into more duck hunting, where I was going was when I run into somebody and they got bossed, they don't have anything else but. They did it here, and I'm like, well, I'm going to get that for that. And then I'm going to get their 3.5s for this, and then I'm going to get. And it seems like it built its loyalty, like obviously my performance, but
I think it messaged.
It was just or was it just a cool name?
And I wasn't a fan of the name. The name was secondary to what the intended purpose was.
Yeah. We had other ones in the running.
There was a couple. But we hired a guy that picked the name of the company, and I'm a manufacturer.
Like that's
where I'm at. I said from day one, when I started this business, I want to be, at the time, Dollar Shave Club. Okay, sold out for like $1 billion. I wasn't talking about selling out, but right. This company hadn't even been profitable. Someone started by making razor blades as good as Gillette and selling them direct to consumer. Right, I worked before. Yeah. At the same time, Vice Golf Ball was doing the same thing. They were building Titleist quality golf balls sold direct. And my experience as a manufacturer, buying bearings and consumable parts and fix-it islands and heaters, everything else for manufacturing. There's a company called MasterCar.
Oh, God, yeah.
That had after the yellow book in every one of my pickup trucks back in the day. You can pay a little bit more.
Yep.
But the customer service is fantastic. You buy a drill, and the thing takes a shit out of it. Instead of, we're sorry, call the manufacturer and you get sent it. But no, you call the MasterCar, they say, yep, I see you bought this 6 months ago. That should still be in warranty. They give the customer service people the discretion to determine how to do their job and keep their customers happy. They send you another drill. They don't charge you for it. They'll send the other one back.
Right.
And boom, away you go. So I said,
then they'll deal with more.
We have to handle that. Right. Handle it. Perfect. I said, I want to be the Dollar Shave Club or the Vice Golf Ball, the shop with a shell. And I want to back it up with the customer service on the MasterCar.
Yeah.
So when you build a quality product, if there's a problem with it, you've got the team that takes care of it.
Right.
So my buddy Carr used to say to them, their sales guys always say, in order for us to be successful here, global business, we need customer satisfaction. And the next guy that came in said, no, we're not a customer satisfaction business. We're in the customer delight business. And this may sound corny, but everyone wants a happy customer.
Yeah.
But what they wanted and what I've adopted, we want that delighted customer.
Right.
Because when they're delighted, they love doing business with you. It doesn't become just a transactional experience. It becomes something they're proud to do business with you, proud to have these customers. And when you build those relationships, you can't dynamite them out.
Right. When everybody hears of like mind on the same team, everybody's.
That was of all the challenges that we have had at growing this business.
My dog DeLon.
The easiest one was the message being clear that the customer is first.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we get some customers that frankly don't want to be happy.
Really, that all.
But you know what it is? I think
If it's representative of anything else in society,
it's 1/10 to 1% of the problems of all other businesses.
Right, right. Yeah, you can't. There's no such thing as a zero unhappy. Vivi. Vivi's wandering around. Hey, Vivi, get over here. There you go. Vivi's been wandering around the boss plant here.
Yeah, so early on, and also yes, early on, so back like when Brandon and I first met, that was back in 18. We started off with, I bet I was a 20 gauge shooter, and then we went through 4 or 5 different variations of shot charges, powder charges, just different variations before we found it. And then just through general conversation, like you said, we used to text or call each other at least 4 or 5 times a week. And then we just got to basing on, so I started helping with the Facebook company.
Yeah.
And this is all going back to the customer satisfaction delight.
Yeah.
But we just got to talking about something, and he said this term to me that's always stuck, that happiness is a choice. You can choose to be happy no matter what, or you can choose to just never be happy.
Right.
And he said, if we don't give it to the customer a choice but to be happy, they don't have to make the choice.
Right. Yeah.
So that's one of the things, like just from that variation, is just traveling. Like, okay, handling technical customer service is just something I head up. Right. And that's something I always keep in mind is like, okay, there's going to be people that are not always happy, but
Well, the other thing too, the psychological side of the game when it comes to customer services, we deal with a lot of our public is south of Macy's.
Right.
And I tend to think, and I think they speak to, some are still pissed off for some north here. So it could be, and we get a guy, we're not sure if we want this Yankee Shun's kind of shop order or something like that. We get a slow talking Mississippi boy down there. It cools things off, right? And it still crosses over to even handle with the Yankee. That's where it's like, he's open, honest as the day is long, want to fix problems if they exist. We want customer to be happy. We want that. We want this to not be a transactional relationship. We're selling consumable products. I want our hunters, customers, their kids and grandkids shooting this stuff when I'm dead and gone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then there's somebody telling that story like, well, I remember when Boss came on the scene. They're like the people that could tell that story. When they were
that's the thing that we had, like that whole newness thing, the disruptive nature of the business, being direct and not being apologetic as far as what we stand for, and how we manufacture our pride. But that newness wears off, and us making new products wasn't just to stay relevant and throw something out there to the market they really need. It's when we got an idea, we know how to implement it, we know how to build strategy, we know how to roll with it and release it and support it. Yeah. And what is the next thing? I don't know.
You need two more errands and 2 more.
Yeah.
At this rate.
Well, you handle the whole country here?
Mm-hmm. Really? Mm-hmm. That's a tall order.
Yep. But there's the thing.
He's got the back end support here in Ox. Eurostat.
I have my team here that I work with. I mean, we're all a team, but I have my people here. Lisa down in the main office I work with. I talk with the girls with customer service all day, so they periodically in and out with me through the day. And
if you do find a problem, you got to call them. Boom, boom, boom.
So, and then we still a situation or whatever it is. Our girls out there in the office is another one of the business psychology things. A lot of guys don't want to hear someone telling them what to do or how to do things. It's just the nature. I mean, hunters tend to be type A guys. We all want to get out of rails and not be able to wife that kind of deal. But what they come to learn is when our girls are telling people recommendations on shot size, right, problems with the gun, right, we used to get a lot of shit early on. I would be the one that's up. No, that's they're sharp, they're well trained, they know what they're talking about. They shoot out there. We let them go out if they want to go out on a Tuesday afternoon when other guys are going to the clays rate. We let them go out. Yeah. The more you learn about this and immerse yourself in the culture.
So they had talk to talk.
Oh, what are you saying? Yeah. It's great.
And they're going to tell you if there's something they can't answer, I'm going to get you with somebody that can answer.
Right. And it's not going to be in 2 weeks.
No, I'm in the shop. They'll put them on hold and they'll either put the call over to me or just general question. I give the details. Sabrina will write it down. Alice will write it down. And boom, now they know.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. That feel pretty good when you go on the road. It's kind of like working for a Fortune 500 company, but you're in a small pond. Like when you show up somewhere, like nobody's waving to hay or alert yet. You know, they're waiting to see what's going on. Hey, is this thing coming up?
You got to react. It's not like a customer service gal has to get permission from a manager, at a corporate strict policy. Like we can shoot, move, like SWAT team. We can shoot, move, execute, and keep going. And I think that's one of the most satisfying things that our customers see is that efficient communication. If a problem screws up, if the guy's got a problem with the shell, the order get out of stuff, you know, we're on top of it. We always want to be perfect, but 99.9% isn't good enough.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a heck of a show. Well, that's like you said, it's because you're so driven like that. You've been in business you're just making a shotgun shell now. You've been making stuff since you were a kid. I mean, the importance of customer service and quality products.
So I wanted to be this. We were always relying upon other customers setting us for we were job shot. So head out of the economy on the automotive and you were decided to be at 150. We made business and may not.
Right.
Still had to do a good job for them. Absolutely. Then you'll work your nights and weekends and you'll have everything. I want to be able to take that same pride for what I did for our customers and manufacture something, start to finish ourselves.
Yeah.
Making consumable item that people are going to want to continue to buy.
Yeah.
And then you're in control of your destiny. So despite massive macroeconomic events may change our business, the best that ever happened to Boss, and the reason why Boss is who we are now, 100% I can say with confidence, the pandemic. Because we were the only company manufacturing ammunition in the spring of 2020 while everyone else was idle. My auto factory was allowed to run because we were building defibrillator parts before.
So that was so piece of plane on,
and we were still running everything else. So, and I believe this to be true, when other companies were supposed to build their non-tops in the springtime to get it into distribution by summer, they weren't making that. We were. Right. When the season came on, they were making 9mm 5.56. They weren't making non-toxic ammo. So we would sell an entire day's worth of production in 15 minutes in the West.
Good God.
And it took us, those 2 years of COVID took us.
It's like Jack and the Beanstalk growing.
Almost vertical.
Yeah.
And because we had the relationships with our supply chain, we were looking ahead. I had a mountain of debt ready to finance personal guarantees and shit to be able to buy all those components. Right. And it was a big risk, but I said, I know this is going to pay off. So when other people couldn't get powder, we had powder because you're buying it in preparation for this type of shit. We're still doing that.
Yeah.
So it's just, you got to continue to grow it. And, there's a lot more left.
Yeah. Could you make a better shotgun shell?
Today, if that's in here, if I say started listening with those Warchiefs, would you go, I'm tweaking. I'm still not done with Bismuth. I don't know where it's going to go, but the answer to having a more lethal shell outside of Warchief, in my world, the answer is a tungsten.
Right.
I don't want to really dive into anything else until I know that I've exhausted it as far as I possibly can. So today, right now, do we have any war against our ammunition? No, not today. Not today at 12:17 of the afternoon. 12:17 of the afternoon on the 6th of November.
Right.
That may change in 15 minutes. I don't know.
We knock around ideas that could come and go.
Yeah. If you don't keep throwing them, there won't be any new ideas.
Well, complacent, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can be complacent, but you get like, we're okay.
Ignorance and apathy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care type shit. And that's not close. We don't have those qualities here.
Aaron, you grew up down in
Tupelo, Mississippi. Born and raised, still live there.
I know Mississippi a little bit, but I was in Jackson. That's up north.
Jackson's central Mississippi.
Okay, central.
Tupelo's northeast corner.
Oh, that's okay.
And I'm an hour out that far south of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I'm an hour west of Alabama.
So grew up duck hunting?
I grew up deer hunting. When I went to Ole Miss in college is when I really started waterfowl hunting over there.
You know who that sounds like? Addison Edmonds.
Well,
When he said I went to Ole Miss.
Like it done it on it. Yeah. So I really started hunting over there. And then once I got out of college, then I was able to fund my hunting so I could go travel to hunt and buy and get in clubs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And now I'm just I'm just there. I'm just.
Do you get some good invites, or you always just stop by? Hey, good invites, because this is where I'm. I'm working at Angle here. I'm working at Angle.
So from my aspect of going, this is the good aspect of. Well, there's not a bad aspect, but
Right.
I look at my job as building relationships. I build my relationship over a shotgun shell.
Right.
And then it turns into lifelong friendships and then lifelong customers. And that's what's really helped us be able to really project the word out because of the relationships we've built with along the way from 18 to now 24. Wow. And so by doing that, yes, I do get some good advice.
I will never ask something as stupid as, what's your favorite place to, but where are some of your favorite places to go?
Man, that's
I mean, is it always down south for ducks, or do you do in Canada?
Man, I'm going to tell you, I've had some of the best hunts and fun, and my buddies will kill me for saying this. It's in Montana.
Really? Waterfall. I've always heard of.
Oh yeah, and that's coming from a southern boy because I've always hunted ducks, trees,
green timber,
rice fields, and I never grew up hunting dry field mallards or skinny water river birds. You know? So when I went up there, I was hunting in the mountains and we were killing waterfowl.
Well, that's already that bad.
I mean, so, and like I said, that's a biased opinion upon me.
Right. But that sticks out. Like when you found Montana waterfowl, you thought it was pretty cool.
Oh man, that's a trip that just, it'll go to the grave with me. Yeah. And I like hunting everywhere, but
everybody does.
I like chasing my speckled bellies in Arkansas on my old private farms there that we lease out. And then, of course, shooting mallards in the timber. Yeah, that never gets.
Yeah, that's something. That's the one thing I haven't done. I had a connection once. I sold a wire hair to a guy in, I think it was white something Arkansas, white rock,
White Hall,
maybe. It was up with white, and he said he was going to get me on a standing timber hunt. But then you sell a dog, you buy it, you chit chat a little bit, and I never did that. So I'm working the angle here. Okay,
That timber hunting mallards
it's all I hear about. It's like, oh, here they come through the trees. Yeah.
The bad part about my job is there's not enough days in the season where I can go see everybody I want to go see, and not even just to hunt, but just to go to watch, have a beer, and hang out, socialize. And, there's just not enough days in the year that can take place.
It's good that it was live managers and operators that it's not a year-round thing.
Nope.
So the valley you can go see it in June, exactly, and shoot shit about exactly. No, they're not there,
Right.
They're not there.
Yeah. But come on season, you're even busier if that's possible.
So it's kind of like my job is a little backwards from what most would think.
Yeah.
Springtime's my busy season.
Oh, okay.
That's when I'm really getting orders in and getting people, trying to get them stocked up for the spring season.
Yeah.
Or the next season.
The upcoming.
That way they have the upcoming season. That way they have everything in stock, in store, what everybody needs. It's one less thing they have to worry about trying to get fields flooded or whatever, water pumped.
Right. By the time hunting's in season, they don't have
Hunting season
a lot of demands. I knew that.
So hunting season is really my elbow rubbing season. So that's where I go and
I go for that job.
that's where I build my relationships for that's where I start trying to reach out to customers and seeing my existing customers. And I mean, I don't even call them customers now. They're friends.
Yeah, right.
They're family now. I mean, I have some guys that it's just, hey, whenever you're here, you got your spot right here.
Yeah.
And of course they understand I still have my clerical work I got to do of that. Yeah, but that comes first. So sometimes I do have to turn down some invites I'd like to, but for the most part, I get to
hunt some pretty cool places.
Oh, yes.
With a lot of cool people.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
I will say though,
Yep.
I'm not afraid to say it. I still number one is my private farm in Arkansas. If somebody says I have a choice, my birds are there, I'm going right there.
Yeah. Old farm in Arkansas. It doesn't take, and I'm not thinking of a row crop farm. I'm thinking of a duck farm here.
That's row crop.
I mean, it is a working farm.
These are all working farm. Yep, these are all, because primarily where I'm at with what I do is all primarily just fields. So rice, beans, corn.
Yeah.
So that's primarily my goose hunting fields. And then we've got a few duck holes here and there, and it's all dependent upon rainfall. That
Right. But it could be something, huh?
oh, it was
Michael Sugar's got something good to like.
oh
Yeah. Well, that's cool. All right, guys, I'm gonna wander through the. I'm gonna wander through the inventory. Yeah, Lee. But thanks, Brandon, for having me up here and letting Vivi run around, take a dump on the showroom floor down there. Aaron for sitting in now. Aaron and I got to exchange numbers because I'm gonna. My friends call me Roddy Free Shit for a reason. And I think that need some free shit. Hell, besides getting some free shit, I'm looking for some free invites. Thanks, guys. I see it. That was perfect. Thanks. That was really good.
yeah.